More businesses fail from empty bank accounts than bad ideas. Not because they stopped selling, because the money they earned wasn't there when the bill showed up. That's a quiet, devastating trap, and most people walk straight into it. Marco walked into it too. Here's what it cost him, and what it taught him. Marco is on top of the world. It's a Tuesday morning and his fresh juice stall is buzzing. The city market is loud, warm, full of people, and almost all of them are stopping at his counter. He sold out by noon yesterday. Noon! He's never done that before. So he does what any ambitious guy would do. He reinvests, hard. New blender, paid up front. Extra refrigeration unit, paid up front. 3 weeks of fruit stock, paid up front, because the supplier knocked off 10% for bulk. And those 2 cafe owners who started buying from him regularly, he lets them pay at the end of the month. They're good customers. They always come through. Marco goes home that night feeling like the version of himself he always wanted to be. Then the 19th arrives. Stall rent is due, $400. His 2 helpers need to be paid, $300. He's almost out of stock and needs $200 to reorder before tomorrow morning's rush. $900 needed today. He opens his cash box, counts it twice, counts it a third time hoping the number changes, $140. He sits there in silence. His chest gets tight. He just had his biggest sales month ever. He worked 6 days a week. He served hundreds of customers. And right now, he cannot pay the 2 people who showed up for him every single morning. He borrows from his cousin to cover rent. His helpers get paid late, and one of them gives him a look he doesn't forget. He can't restock in time. The stall stays closed the next morning. Customers come, see the shutters down, and walk on. That evening, Marco is sitting on a crate outside the market, just staring at nothing. Joseph walks over. Joseph has had a spice stall in this market for over 20 years. His hands are stained with turmeric. He never seems rattled by anything. He sits down beside Marco without being asked. "Good month?" he says. "Best month I've ever had," Marco says quietly. "And I still couldn't pay my bills." Joseph doesn't look surprised. He reaches down and picks up an empty plastic bottle from the ground. He holds it up. "This is your business," he says. "Water coming in, money you receive. Water going out, money you spend." He slowly tilts the bottle upside down. "Doesn't matter how much water was in here last week. Right now, what's in here is what keeps you alive." Marco stares at the bottle. "Your sales were real," Joseph says. "Your problem wasn't the amount, it was the timing." He sets the bottle down and looks at Marco. "Tell me, when exactly did money arrive in your hands this month? And when exactly did it need to leave?" Marco opens his mouth. Nothing comes out. He doesn't know. He tracked his sales religiously. He knew his revenue. He never once tracked the movement, when money came in versus when it had to go out. Never. Not once. That night, he skips dinner and sits at his kitchen table with a notebook and a pen. He writes every single payment he owes and the exact date it's due. Then he writes every payment coming to him and the exact date it arrives. No guessing. Exact dates. And there it is, staring back at him. His cafe clients owe him $600, but they pay on the 30th. His rent and payroll hit on the 19th. The money was always there. It just wasn't there yet when everything came due. He calls his cafe clients. Honest conversation. New deal. They pay every 2 weeks instead of once a month. He renegotiates his supplier order to smaller weekly amounts, so he's not locking up all his cash at once. Next month, same stall, same customers, almost identical revenue. On the 19th, Marco opens his cash box, $1,100. He pays his rent, he pays his team, on time, without that look. He restocks the night before and opens at full capacity the next morning. He doesn't miss a single day. Nothing about his product changed. Nothing about his hustle changed. The only thing that changed was his awareness of when money moved. Marco wasn't failing because his business was weak. He was failing because he was watching the scoreboard, but ignoring the clock. Revenue tells you how much. Cash flow tells you when. And in the real world, when can hurt you just as badly as how much. Most business owners learn this too late, after the missed payroll, after the borrowed money, after the look from someone they let down. You don't have to learn it that way. Cash flow is simply the movement of money in and out of your business during a specific period. That's it. Money coming in minus money going out equals your cash flow for that period. Say you bring in $5,000 this month and spend $4,200, positive $800. You're in good shape. But if you bring in $5,000 and spend $5,600, you're negative $600. That's a problem, even if your sales look strong. Here's what most people miss. Cash flow is not the same as profit. You can be profitable on paper and completely broke in practice. If customers owe you money but haven't paid yet, that revenue exists. It's just not in your hands. And your landlord doesn't accept "I'm profitable on paper." Most financial advisors recommend keeping 1 to 3 months of operating expenses in accessible cash at all times. Not invested, not tied up in stock, available. That buffer is what keeps businesses breathing when timing gets tight. Not understanding cash flow doesn't just create financial stress, it makes every business decision cloudy. You can't confidently hire someone, buy new equipment, or expand into a new location if you don't actually know when your money moves.
Business owners who track cash flow sleep differently. They negotiate from strength, not desperation. They see problems coming weeks before they arrive. The ones who ignore it spend their time reacting, borrowing, stalling, apologizing, instead of building. And here's the truth that nobody talks about enough. Most businesses that shut down weren't out of customers, they were out of time. Cash flow is what buys you time, and time is the one thing in business you can never get back. Here's your one action for today. Open a notebook or a notes app and write down every payment coming to you this month with the exact date you'll receive it. Then write every bill you owe with the exact date it's due. Just that. No spreadsheet needed, no app required. Just dates and amounts side by side. You'll see your business in a completely different way by the time you're done. If this video opened your eyes even a little, send it to one person who's starting a business or struggling with one. It might be exactly what they needed today.